Oh, hello guys. What's up in wherever you live? Let's see. This video is about, well, if you watch my other videos, you're going to see that I basically I live on milk, and it's skim milk or non-fat milk. I don't know if that's for sale in markets around the world, but it is here in the United States. And it's basically the milk part of milk, which milk from the cow has milk and cream. But for skim milk, most of the cream is taken away, so it's less calories. And I drink about 2 gallons or 7.5 liters every day. But when I stay at my mom's, I do have my own apartment, but my mom's house is in the same city. Although I mostly live on milk, it's very tempting, since she eats more of a typical mixed diet, to put some of the food from her fridge into my milk to add a little variety. And it can be a variety. It can be, well, usually in her fridge there's quite a few different items of food, and I just put in whatever appeals to me. And sometimes it's food that's getting old, and I'm pretty sure if I don't put it in my milk and consume it, it's going to spoil and she's going to throw it away. But occasionally it can happen that I'll put food in the milk that actually is probably somewhat spoiled. Not great amounts of food, maybe just very small amounts of food. And this may be controversial. I know most people are very careful about what they eat. If food looks spoiled, they'll just throw it away. And I don't know, it just bothers me to throw food away, even if it's spoiled. But I've discovered by putting it in milk, it seems to become sort of palatable, bearable. I mean, most spoiled food or slightly spoiled food tastes really bad. But somehow when I put it in my milk, well, when I put it in a gallon jug, I have to break it into pieces to get it into the jug. And when you actually are drinking milk that has little chunks of food in it, you mostly get milk, and here and there you'll get the little chunks. And I find that when you get very small chunks of spoiled food, your body can handle it. If you sat down to a whole meal of spoiled food, you'd probably get sick, or it would taste so bad you couldn't even eat it. But in my case, I'm getting chunks of good food, mostly good food, but here and there, once in a while, a tiny amount of spoiled food. And the experience of it is diluted enough. Well, for me, so-called spoiled, it just becomes a different taste. It's a little bad tasting, but it's not so bad that I'm just going to have a heart attack. So it's just a little taste, different taste. It mixes it up a little. In general, humans get a very sweet diet, right? Everything we eat is very tasty and nice, and it mixes it up a little to get a tiny bit of spoiled food. A lot of times, spoiled food or good solid food, it'll sink to the bottom. If I get to the bottom and I'm getting chunks of spoiled food and it's too much to handle, I have a funnel. I'll just add fresh milk to the container, and I'll drink the milk down again and maybe eat it one chunk of the spoiled food, add some more milk, drink it down, eat one chunk of the spoiled food. So sometimes I can use the same container and I'll end up drinking about 10 gallons of milk from that same 1 gallon container. But don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm eating very large quantities of spoiled food. It's just a tiny amount. But by putting it in the milk, it sort of rescues the spoiled food and makes it bearable. And I guess I'll show it to you. Now, this is a gallon of milk, non-fat milk. No, yeah, this is fat-free. That's from Trader Joe, which is a chain here. I don't know if it's nationwide. It's certainly in Southern California. This is a funnel. This particular funnel has an extra wide hole, which is very useful for stuffing solid food down into a milk container. And I ought to mention, when I put solid food into a milk container, I think I eat less of the solid food and maybe don't put on as much weight by having to put it into the little hole at the top. It means I have to break it up, and it means that it's tiring to put it in, so I kind of stop pretty quick. So mostly I'm still getting milk. When you live on milk, it's pretty tempting to eat some solid food here and there. And this way I can get a little solid food, but the milk container helps me minimize the amount of solid food I'm getting. And then I take a chopstick to push the solid food down through the funnel. Now in this case I have some strawberries. These were bought only a few days ago, but a few of them are kind of bad. Like this one has formed some white fuzz. So that's a slightly spoiled strawberry. Now for me, I'm going to break that up and put it in my milk. Let me see, I just tore it in half, and that's the part with the fuzz, and I'm going to drop that in my milk. Now the interesting thing is too, and I hadn't thought about this till just now, when you eat a chunk of spoiled food, so-called spoiled food, that's flowing out of your milk container, usually you don't even see it. I mean, most of these strawberries are good. I'm putting them in my milk, but one or two of them have the fuzz. But when I actually eat them as they flow along with my milk, I'm not going to see them. They're just going to flow into my mouth as I tip back the jug. And when you can't see that fuzz, you aren't even that aware or at all aware of which chunk is spoiled and which of the 10 or 30 chunks are good. They just all kind of blend together and they all taste fine. So I'm okay. So that helps too. That's another way that milk helps to rescue so-called spoiled food. Like I say, I don't worry about it. I mean, it's a tiny amount of spoiled. And I also tend to think that your body can filter out the bad stuff if you're only taking it in pretty slowly and use the good stuff. So there's many reasons here not to worry in this case. And it's possible to me that by exposing yourself to a little spoiled food, your body is producing new chemicals that can help you cope with different taxing situations, but it's doing it in a moderated situation where you're only getting these tiny amounts of so-called spoiled food. So that's the idea. Now I've taken it kind of far. For example, I had a piece of pizza in my fridge that sat unnoticed for 5 months. When I noticed it, I did tear it up and put it in my milk. And it tasted, those little chunks, I could tell that they were spoiled, but it was coming in such small quantities. You know, a lot of times a chunk of spoiled food will come to that mouth of that milk container, and I'll just bite off part of it as it kind of rests in the mouth, and then set the container back down, and the rest of the chunk falls back into the container. Anyway, with that pizza, that was a case where it sunk to the bottom, and I would drink the milk down to the bottom, and I might get one chunk of pizza, and then I'd fill the container back up with milk and drink it down to the bottom again. So that pizza took a long time to eat. And yeah, it was bad, but it was just kind of interesting. I mean, people are it's almost like people are afraid of spoiled food, like it's the boogeyman under the bed. and it was kind of interesting to just eat it slowly, and it took the fear away. I mean, I didn't get sick from it at all. And oh, what can I say? It kind of adds to your experiences in life that oh, I mean, what is spoiled food? It's some kind of little animal in there, or plant that's grown up. It's not like it's from another universe. Whatever's there, it's still from our universe. So it kind of is another experience. Some people, they hear about this, I take some criticism, and I don't think the criticism is merited. But that's an idea for you. How can I put it? If I advocate it too strongly, then maybe I'll get in trouble and people say you're an awful person. So I'll just put it out there neutrally. It's something I do. I've done it for a long time. I've had it be a positive experience. It's never had any bad results, and that's it.